Before we get going on today's edition of Minnesota Vikings Now, a question for you guys. Who is your favorite player on the Minnesota Vikings? I go Justin Jefferson. Producer Patrick, our number one diehard Vikings fan, going Harrison Smith. But we want to hear from you. Let us know right now in the comment section. You're watching Minnesota Vikings Now by Chat Sports. I am Tom Downey. Here's what's coming up on today's show. A look at some news and notes and just overall takeaways right now on the very impressive 3-1 Vikings team. Some negative, though. Danielle Hunter has not been the normal Danielle Hunter we've seen so much. We'll break that down, explore maybe why. Some power rankings tidbits, and some offensive line reaction to the Vikings' performance and overall this season play against the Saints. Let's begin, though, with Danielle Hunter, who has, when healthy, been almost a sack-per-game guy in his prime. That is unheard of. That's top 5. That's defensive MVP caliber stuff, or defensive player of the year stuff, I should say. But he hasn't been, that healthy, and he hasn't been nearly as good this year. 1 sack in week 1, and then nothing since then. And for a guy that has consistently had upwards of 14% pressure rate, 14% win rate, and more, he's not been that caliber of guy so far this year. Yeah, 4.20 is nice, but that's not what we're going for in terms of ESPN's win rate, pressures from PFF, and of course just the raw sacks. Sacks is a bad way to only eval one player. If you're only basing your results on sacks, it's a bad way to go about it. But when the sacks are down, the pressures are down, and the pass rush win rate is down, it's not a good thing overall. Now look, Hunter's been getting doubled. He's been getting shipped a good amount as well. Za'Darius Smith, as I thought, played pretty solidly overall. And the Vikings are winning football games. It's not like it's the end of the world there. But you were expecting more out of Hunter in this new Vikings defense. I think overall the defense has been a bit of a disappointment, if we're being honest, for Minnesota. You need more out of your highly paid and highly talented and highly productive in his career pass rusher. Now, maybe things get going again against the Bears. Larry Borum's been fine. Look, we'll use the PFF grades here. No one does offensive line play, like overall, so we do with what we can for stats and whatnot. Braxton Jones is a late-round pick out of Southern Utah. I think you can beat him if you're Danielle Hunter. In fact, you should be salivating over that matchup. The Bears are not going to pass that much. They run the football, run the football, run the football. Fields is a dangerous runner with those legs. But I think you can get if we focus less on total and more on percentage, factoring in the fewer pass rush reps he's going to have, I think Hunter will bounce back. So what do you think? Well, Danielle Hunter, get right, if you will, against the Chicago Bears. Get those predictions in for me in the comment section. If you want to be speaking into existence, guy, that's fine too. Type in Y for yes or N for no. Let's check in around the ESPN power rankings, since they're the big ones, and we know how that tends to work overall in the NFL. Here's where things sit in the new ESPN power rankings. Chiefs at 1, Bills at 2, Eagles at 3, Packers at 4, the Dolphins are at 5, Rams at 6, the Vikings at 7. Now, I will make note, I did the Chat Sports AP poll style rankings this morning. We'll put the link in the comment section in the description for you guys, too. We had the Vikings at 7. We did not have the Rams at 6. There are some differences there. I feel like top 10 team is what the Vikings are right now. Now, that's not to say that they are perfect at this point. Kevin Seifert, I think, has a good note on the Vikings' biggest weakness right now. Vikings opponents are catching 75% of their targeted passes, the second highest rate in the NFL. Of the 97 pass completions against them, 69, nice, have come by receivers who have at least 3 yards of separation at the time of the throw, the 4th highest total in the league. So what this is your secondary and your pass defense, which can not always be the same thing necessarily, are not doing a great job. We mentioned Hunter's not getting home. It's twofold. Pass rush isn't winning as much. Secondary is getting beat too quickly. That's why you've allowed so many passing game success rates here. The Vikings defense overall, the points per game are great. You're allowing 20 points per game, you're happy. But the yards are reflective of potential regression coming. 26 in total yards, 26 in passing yards, 23rd in rushing yards. The defense, with Mike Zimmer now gone and some replacements in overall with Ed Donatel and some adjustments, Lewis Scene's now injured, unfortunately. The defense has not been, I'll call it, championship contender. The NFC is wide open. The offense, I think, some ups and downs. We know how Kirk plays in primetime, unfortunately. Special teams has done its job so far. If the defense can pick it up in the wide open NFC, think about it, right? The Eagles, we know, are a good team, but I think they're beatable. It's Jalen Hurts. He's not a proven commodity. The Cowboys are a beatable team, unless it's, Cooper Rush, apparently. The Bucks have not looked the greatest. The Rams have not looked the greatest. The Packers already lost to Minnesota. So if the defense can pick it up, the Vikings can make a run this year. So with this in mind, grade the Vikings defense for me. Kind of Madden style, 1 to 100 on the rating scale. Let me know. 1 on the low end and 100 on the high end. Coming up next, we'll break down the Vikings offensive line play so far and how things are faring for the Vikings, which has been good enough, I'll say, from that standpoint. But first, today's show is made possible by BetUS. Head over to chatsports.com/bet and use that promo code CHAT125 for a 125% deposit bonus. Chatsports.com/bet. Promo code CHAT125 gets you a 125% deposit bonus. The lines right now, Vikings by 7 at home against the Chicago Bears. Keep an eye on that line. I would not be surprised if it balloons a little bit. So maybe Vikings minus 7.5 or even 8. So get in while you can. $100 down. We'll get you the deposit bonus. It's chatsports.com/bet. Promo code CHAT125 for the 125% deposit bonus. Here's now that look, as promised, at the offensive line play for the Saints. Focused in on the passing side of things here. Total pressures allowed. Christian Darrisaw allows 2, was a hit and a hurry. Ezra Cleveland allows 2, a sack and a hurry. Garrett Bradbury, just the 1 pressure allowed at center. We'll go more into him in a little bit. Ed Ingram, the rookie, 4 total, a sack, 2 hits and a hurry. Brian O'Neill, a sack and a hurry as well. Pressures or sacks, hits, hurries combined. Also 2 penalties on both O'Neill and on Garrett Bradbury as well. O'Neill was, to be honest, a bit of a disappointment. I'm not out on him. Don't get me wrong there. He's been time and time again a pretty quality football player in the NFL, but that's a little bit less than what we would anticipate out of Bradbury with those grades. The pass block grade is lower because in part of those penalties. I think we owe, maybe not a full-fledged apology, but at least it's better out of Garrett Bradbury this year, the former first-round pick, who I still am doubtful if he's your actual franchise center moving forward, but he has been much better in particular as a pass blocker. Think about it, his career, right? 29 pressures, 26 pressures, down to 8 this year. Now, the math is fine there in terms of projecting out, but Bradbury has played better this year. Am I still looking for a center next year? Probably, but he's gotten better every single game, and that is a very promising sign for the Vikings, who need better center play out of Garrett Bradbury. Christian Darrisaw, meanwhile, I have long thought the breakout year was going to come partial this year, partial next year. He's very much on the path there. The offensive line is playing better this season. And by the way, quick note, when you have 12 pressures total allowed, but 4 of them go for sacks, I often say that sacks are a quarterback stat. That's a great example. When you are allowing 12 pressures in total, a third of those should not go down as sacks. That's a higher percentage than what it should be. I believe indicative your quarterback got to get rid of the ball just a little bit quicker or be better with his pre-snap reads, whatever. Hey, you got the win. I think the offense is not your problem right now. Even if Johnny Munt, in his, 4 pass block reps, kind of got bullied a little bit at tight end. All right, that is it for today's video. And if you made it to the end, thank you. It makes you a real one. So type real one in the comments section, and producer Patrick will make sure to show you guys some love in there.